There's some incredible TV coming out of the UK right now. Brits just do it differently. The accents, the wit, the scenery, the devastating one-liners disguised as compliments. It's all streaming on BritBox. They have the best mysteries, dramas, comedies, and seriously addicting originals like Outrageous, based on the true story of the Mitford sisters. They were kind of like the Kardashians of the 1930s, wealthy, audacious, chaotic, wildly opinionated, and always making headlines. And chances are you've never heard their story. It's stunning. It's jaw-dropping. It's very British. So check out Outrageous. It could be your next favorite. Don't miss Outrageous, streaming now only on BritBox.
Tough to believe Domino's has never had stuffed crust pizza until now, right? Well, it's here. And it's delicious. It's stuffed with melty cheese, baked with melty cheese, and sprinkled with garlic seasoning and real Parmesan. Yep, that's even more cheese. Order Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza for $10.99 each when you mix and match 2 or more items. Price is higher for some locations. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Delivery orders subject to local store's delivery charge. 2-item minimum. For additional terms and conditions, visit Domino's.com.
Let's Talk with Heather Dubrow starts now. Yay! I get to hang out with my friend Jen Curley today! Yay! How are you?
Hi. I am good. I am so good. I'm so glad that we get to hang for a little bit. I feel like we're just ships in the night.
I know. First of all, I'm gutted that I missed your baby shower. It looked so cute.
I'm sad too. It was good. But, here's the thing. It's like, let's be honest. It's a baby shower, so I try to make these things as fun as possible. Like I had I try to always have like a drinking game. So people are still, like trying, like socializing and drinking. We had like Vuv Pong, which I feel like you would have really liked.
Trust me, I saw.
And so it was great. And I don't open gifts or do anything like that, but I feel like it is still like I can't drink. So
it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Wait, first of all, I just want to tell everyone, we're going to talk about baby showers. We're going to talk about my trip to Croatia. We are going to talk about my weird hormonal situation, all those things. But I'm just curious, when it comes to parties, so tell me if you're like this. I love parties and I love to throw parties and I love to plan them. And sometimes it's so fun and you just have the best time or whatever. And other times I feel like, why do I do this? This is so much money and it's so much work and it's so much effort. And is anyone really enjoying it? Do they feel like they have to come? And why am I doing this? It's either like the best time and I want to throw 30 more parties, or I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Same. And I talked about this a little bit on my TikTok. I was like, I do also feel a little bipolar about it. But for me, I think right now it's probably because I'm pregnant and I can't fully participate. And then I'm also hormonal.
Fair.
But I did feel okay. I always have to make the disclaimer, right? Like I'm very grateful to be able to throw parties, to have friends that want to come, all the things. But you're right. It's like there is a line where there's so much work that goes into it. And I don't know. I feel like as a host, you can really get down on yourself depending on how the event goes or how the vibes are going into it. I don't know. It is very interesting because I was also talking about, I kind of got some like pushback on social about having a baby shower for not my first baby, right? Like I think the old, like the more traditional etiquette rules, historically, you're supposed to just have a shower for your first.
Right.
And then I think later on they wrote in that you could have a sprinkle, even though I feel like that's fucking the same thing. It's a celebration.
It's totally the same thing. And I also feel like it's okay. Well, first of all, I think it's always okay to celebrate happy things. Just Let's put that out there. You feel like celebrating and it's a good excuse to get your family together or your friends together. I'm all for all of that. But also after 2 boys, you're having a girl. And so maybe you don't have a lot of girl things. And it's kind of an exciting, plot twist. And
Well, and I was saying that I think the reason why those rules were originally created is because, like, historically, you put somebody out by having a shower because somebody else is hosting it. You're asking for gifts.
right.
I did something for both Guy and this baby. And I feel like so for the second and third, I hosted it myself. And I specifically said no gifts. You know, I don't know. I just feel like if you're hosting something yourself, you can have as many parties as you want.
100%. That's a very good point. If you're putting other people out like, hey, throw me a party,
Yes.
then it's a little bit of again. Okay, here we go again. But I agree with you. I am too much of a control freak to let other people do things.
My friends, they're fed up with me. They're like, so will we ever get to throw a party? Because, a lot of times, like birthdays, like one of your girlfriends will organize it. And I feel like for me too, it's control. And it's also what I just said. I feel like I'm putting somebody out. It's a lot of work. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of money. Everyone's got busy lives and the intentions are good, but we know how much time and money and effort it takes to throw a party for ourselves, so for someone else to do it for you. But not only that, if I could just be totally honest, if I am having a birthday or something, I like it the way I like it. And as much as I do appreciate, and here's the disclaimer, like you were saying, super grateful that someone would want to do that or go to the effort. But I know exactly how I like it and exactly how it's going to make me happy. And if it's my event, just let me handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And happy.
Yes. And to piggyback off of that, if you are somebody that you know what you like and you're assertive, then the dynamic will be weird. If you have a friend do it, then what? You're going to be like feeling like you're bossing them around. Like, that's weird. Like, I feel like a good candidate to have your friend throw something for you is if you're like super like laid back and you don't really care. I've never been accused of being chill before.
No, me either. And then here's the other thing. One of the reasons why I get down on throwing parties is that people will just cancel.
Oh, I know.
At the last minute, you give a head count and then it's a couple, like you were throwing a couple shower. How many of the other people didn't come and only one of them came?
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
And even RSVPs, like you think that people would be good at it by now.
No.
But, and then again, I probably am the worst right now because I'm all hormonal and I'm all like wanting to get stuff done. But I had like a moment, because I had a party planner and I had a moment where I was really frustrated because people were not RSVPing on time. And I found myself getting so bothered, and I don't know, it gets silly, right? Because then it ruins your whole
vibe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like it's really obnoxious. I remember when I got married, it was my first, huge party, obviously in LA. And, except for like little dinner parties or whatever. But, my mom was so irritated by how people did not RSVP in a timely fashion. And she was like, this doesn't happen in New York. This must be a California thing. And I wondered if it was. And now I guess I'm throwing it out to the nation. We might have to do a poll on this. Gabby, remind me. Is this RSVP thing, is this a California problem or is this everywhere? Like in New York, are you having the same problem for your 4th of July party or your bachelorette or your wedding?
Or is it generational?
Or is
I don't know. Or I don't know. So then the other thing is during this time, I had a lot of friends tell me, which a lot of people will say and use the excuse like, oh, it's hard. Okay. So that's the thing. I didn't do it digitally because I wanted to do it old fashioned. So I did snail mail and I did RSVP to an email address. And then people were like, oh, it's because you did mail and it's not like, paperless post or e-vite. People can't just click yes. So it's a little bit more effort. So that's why people didn't do it in a timely fashion. Heather, I'm sorry. What? I don't care. I was like, you could email on your phone. You could receive the invite and I don't know. I was like, I don't understand.
I could make it. And so I texted you. So I didn't formally
Well, no. I mean, but that's something. There were definitely a good amount of people that, it's just,
They just
I don't know
ignore.
if RSVPing is like a thing of the past. No, I don't know. I can't tell, but there are lots of excuses. I personally have never found it that difficult.
No, me either. I'll tell you what the worst infraction is, in my opinion. The bar mitzvah thing, you cannot believe. So, if you are in a group that has Jewish kids in it or live in an area where your kids goes to school with kids that are Jewish, it's bar mitzvah season when they're in 7th grade. And the great thing about it is they have plans every weekend. Literally. There's a party to go to that is fun and chaperoned, and it is a fortune. These are like mini weddings.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
And, everyone, they entertain the children, they entertain the parents. It is so much money. And I will tell you, when Ace turned 13, my kids went to Jewish preschool and stuff, but they were not bar and bat mitzvah. I was, my husband wasn't. It's a longer story, whatever. I'll tell you another time. But the point is, when he turned 13, I wanted to do something fun for him. So it was kind of like a faux mitzvah. And so I did this big party for him. And okay, everyone RSVP'd, but here's the thing that they do. The parents will RSVP, yes. But then the kids, especially where we live, are kind of on their own vibe. And they Uber places and they handle themselves and they come and go as they please. And you spend all this money on an event, and some of them will come for an hour.
Oh.
And go.
Yeah. And they're kids. So it's hard to be like, don't you know that that's rude?
Well, I mean, the parents should be involved. But, it's like, look, there's extenuating circumstances. Your kid's having a bad night. Someone looked at them funny.
Right.
The kids are being mean to them. They don't fit in, like all that kind of stuff. That totally makes sense. But I've seen at an event like this, like a posse of kids come in, hang for an hour and be like, yeah, he's out. And it's like the amount of money that was spent on the food and the merch and the entertainment and the things. It's just so crazy to me.
And a part of me feels like, again, when I'm in a good mood about it, I'm like, okay, that's just comes with the territory of hosting these things. But depending, I could also be really bothered because it's like for like my baby shower, for instance, I paid basically per head, right? And there were, there's always same day cancellations, like things come up. I get it. Life happens. But yeah, it is hard. It can swing both ways for me. Just going to what you said, how this whole conversation started. I can either be like, whatever, right? This is just life. This is what happens. Or I'm like, what the hell?
I know. I'm the same way.
I'm never doing this again.
And then it's hard if, people have to drive far or it's a weekend, it's all those.
Totally. And I think for the majority of this group of women too, small children land, it's hard. I get it. There's lots of things happening. There's lots of variables. Yeah. And you got multiples and, so
I think the take home is if you enjoy it and it makes you happy, you do it. I got to a place several years ago, although I did throw kind of a big birthday party this year. And I did another one like 2 years ago. But I don't do it every year and I don't do it for every occasion. I only do it when the mood hits me. Or I'll do smaller things or dinner parties. But I usually throw my own birthday because I enjoy doing that. But I did get to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have smaller dinner parties and just have 4 couples and do it like really excessively and beautifully and whatever, but just make it smaller. And I find that more enjoyable.
Well, yeah, because at your birthday party, I didn't even get to talk to you.
Well, that had different issues.
No, but I feel like, see, at my shower, this would have happened too. We wouldn't have been able to spend the time that we would have wanted to together because we don't really get to see each other that much.
I know.
I'd almost rather than you and I just do something separate.
Which we are.
Anyway, but yeah, I agree. And I had told my best friend for this shower was like, are you, she knows me by now. So how I'm controlling and stuff. And I was like, I was like, oh, I have an idea. Maybe if you just like did a surprise thing and like I wasn't a part of the plan. She was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's a suicide mission. I'm like, I would never surprise you with a shower. I was like, yeah, you're probably right.
I think I could have thrown you in the shower.
Oh, yes. I mean, this is what I mean. I go back and forth because there is something about totally relinquishing all of that control. If somebody was very like, I'm taking it from you and I'm doing it, and you don't get to, you know what I mean? Like the moment you let me in and you let me do stuff, it's just.
Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout, envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Maybe you just want to visualize where your bar cart will go. At apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. You can literally envision yourself in your new home with apartments.com, the place to find a place.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. Well, that's funny. That's a funny segue. So, we just got back from Croatia.
Yes, I saw photos.
I haven't posted the
lovely.
majority of the photos. I think I will start posting some. I didn't take like a ton of content or anything. We did like a few little TikToks, whatever, but that was it. I have to say, first of all, the trip was phenomenal.
Okay. I mean,
so great. But this is kind of how it all started. We were out to dinner with these friends of ours, and we were talking about, they were telling us that they had done this yacht trip, and we had always wanted to try a yacht trip. And yes, this is totally unrelatable and very bougie, so forgive me, but I'm just going to tell you about it. Have you ever done anything like this?
Out of touch, Heather. Out of touch.
Totally out of touch.
Have I done a yacht trip?
Yes.
No, I have not.
So we had never done it either. We had done things where we charter a boat for the day and we go out like in the middle of a vacation and they snorkel and whatever.
Yeah.
Never slept on a boat. Terry historically is very seasick. And it was like never. And when I was younger, like in high school, like we'd been on cruises with my family, not a big fan. So it wasn't really in the cards for us, but we were having dinner with these friends and we talked about it and they're like, it's so great. You guys have got to do this with us. And we were like, okay, great. We should do this. And I like drunk plans. I don't know. But the next thing you know, we have booked this yacht trip in Croatia. Now, why Croatia, you might ask? Croatia, because I heard it was beautiful.
I feel like it's very popular.
Yeah. But it was also not a place that was, I mean, I don't want this to sound terrible, but it wasn't a place I was dying to go to. Like there's certain places I haven't been to yet. Like I'd never.
On your list.
Yeah. Like we haven't been to Australia yet, which is so weird. We were supposed to go a few times. It kept getting canceled. We haven't done that yet. I would love to go to Australia. So Croatia wasn't like I had this burning desire to go. But what I decided was it's beautiful. Everyone loves it when they go there. And it's a great place to go by boat. And I thought this is a great way to try out this boat thing in a place that I'm not going to be worried that, we have to get into town and see this, or we got to make sure we see that. I didn't care what we did. And so we planned the thing, and I really didn't micromanage the trip because my friend Daisy was like, listen, the yacht people, the captain knows where to go and they know where to stop and you can't micromanage it. We'll just go with the flow. And I was like, okay. And I did. I was like, yeah, good.
Well, I was going to say also I don't know about you, but for me, I think I would have to relinquish control because I don't know that much about boating.
Right.
So I feel like that in itself, you would have to let them kind of, right, take charge.
100%. And I had asked, we did a Zoom with the captain and I had said, we're going to go to this beach club. Like, do we need day beds? Do we need to arrange it? He was like, it's before the high season. It'll be fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, totally let it all go. So I'm going to tell you all the highs and lows of the trip here.
Okay.
What I would tell you is in general, it was so fabulous. And this boat thing is so great. I mean, we got Terry everything from Bonine to we bought these expensive like anti-nausea watches. We got prescription scopolamine patches. We got everything. He needed nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
wow.
No, I was totally. There were stabilizers on the boat. The boat was so gorgeous. There was like a lot of different hangout areas. Like there was a ski pool in the front where the water would come in from the Adriatic. There was they set up a beach club in the back when we were anchored. There was a hot tub on the rooftop deck. There were different places to eat and hang. And there was only 4 couples.
So fun. I mean, I'll be completely honest. I feel like I've never been on a yacht trip. Well, there's a few other reasons, but I feel like up until now, and I live in Newport, I feel like I'm unsure that I'm a boat person. As you have just remarked on many reasons why people could not be. Here, plenty of people have boats, and I'm happy to go on one for like a little spin, but even a little jaunt, like I'll tell you, the bathrooms freak me out.
100%. The bathrooms are weird. This, that. I'm gonna tell you, this ship was like, first of all, the bathrooms were gorgeous, not weird at all. Amazing shower, everything was beautifully appointed and big and nice. And I mean, it was so nice. Everything about it. I'm telling you, I was not a boat person. I feel exactly the same way you do. Even when we go to Idaho and we go on the boat for the day, I'm like, it's enough. Check the.
Yeah, like I want to be a boat person. It's very sexy. But even Kevin, he always laughs at me. He's like, "You hate it." I'm like, "I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I can go on it for a little bit and be like, woo, and then I'm like, okay,
time to get
like,
off. I'm telling you, we were the same way. Terry's the same way. And Terry has this thing, which is so annoying. We will go on a trip and it'll be amazing. And at the end, it'll be like, yeah, we're never doing that again. Like he will lean into the, I don't like this and I didn't like that. And and all that kind of thing. I was very concerned. And even the night before we got on the boat, he was like, why are we doing this? Who thought this would be? I'm like, I have a video. I made a video with him. I'm like, you agreed to do this. You wanted to do this. It's going to be fine. And if we hate it, we'll never do it again. I will tell you that I want to tell you some of the lovely things about it. It's so relaxing, especially while the boat is moving. Like we were having cocktails and hors d'oeuvres one night while they were repositioning, and the breeze was just unbelievable, and the sun was setting, and I can't explain it. It's like a floating hotel room.
This is encouraging because I feel like I feel like it's something different to do. So wait, would you and Terry both do it again?
1,000%. While we were on there, we were already going, okay, we need to do this again, but where would be a better place for us to do it? Because here's the thing, Croatia, gorgeous. People are lovely. And you stop at all these little islands. It's a little more of like a Rancho Relaxo vibe. You get off, you walk around the little towns. They're all very interesting, beautiful walled cities. There's a fortress, or a fort. Dubrovnik is a walled city. You can see tunnels where they would hide the submarines. Really beautiful. But basically, it's a little same. I don't want to be rude about it, but
if you could compare it to any other island or country you've been to, what is the vibe most like?
It reminds me a little bit of Ez in the south of France. Have you ever been to Ez?
I have not.
Ez is like, it's like a medieval little town. It's gorgeous. And you walk up and it's preserved, but they have like new stores within this preserved, beautiful, medieval little city. And I
was thinking maybe St. Bart's or no? Is St. Bart's?
Oh,
no. I was like, I love St. Bart's.
Love St. Bart's, but St. Bart's.
Could you do a yacht trip there?
Okay, I wouldn't do it there. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Yeah, because I think I love St. Bart's, but I like being like, I like to stay at Eden Rock and walk around to the different beach clubs. And
it's so cute.
So cute. I like being in town there. I know people like staying on yachts at St. Bart, but I like being sort of on land there.
On land. Okay, that's fair.
Because I don't own a yacht, nor will I ever. So I guess if you owned a yacht, I understand that. But I like being in the action a little bit. I think with Croatia, there wasn't any like great, fabulous dinner spot to go. There were some lovely restaurants we went into, but I like a mix of relaxation and party and vibe. So to me, the south of France would be perfect. Have some beautiful chill day on the yacht, go out somewhere, swim, spend the whole day, water toys, no makeup, doing all that stuff. And then you go into town that night and you go to, Le Cafe or La Opera, Petit Plage, and you have like a fun, vibey late night dinner. And then you go back to your boat. Croatia doesn't really have that. They have nightclubs and stuff like that, but not what I'm talking about. So I think I need more of that kind of thing. But I will tell you, we would go out, we would get up, we'd have breakfast with everyone. And then, some people worked out, some people did this, some people that. And then I would put on a swimsuit and I would be like, what area do I feel like sitting in today? And I would go find my little spot and I would look at the clock and I'd be like, oh, I only have 5 hours to sit here.
Oh, wow.
I'd be sad that it was only 5 hours and not 10.
You were relaxed then.
So relaxed.
Yeah.
So great. And it's very important that you go with the right people.
Yeah.
Because even though it was a big boat, it's still, you're all like eating together and hanging out together. And we had an amazing group of people.
You're like in small quarters. I mean, you're on a boat together.
Yeah, but there's like 2 separate living rooms. There's, an upstairs dining room, a downstairs there was a lot of different hangout spots. The layout, I would say if anyone's looking to do some kind of boat trip like this, you really need to look at the layout of the boat. It's more important than the size of the boat. Because if you have a huge ship, but it only has one deck that gets sun, everyone's going to be in that spot. You're a busy person. There's a lot on your mind during the day and at night when you're trying to sleep. And sometimes it's hard to shut out the noise. Boll & Branch sheets quiet all that noise, wrapping you in a softness so extraordinary that your body and mind effortlessly drift to sleep. Their signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, so you can spend every night in the softest feeling imaginable. I love Boll & Branch. They are so delicious, and there is nothing I love better than getting into bed and slipping between the softest, coolest, nicest, sweet, lovely sheets. Also, oh my God, they have this waffle blanket that is so delicious, so cozy, so amazing. Boll & Branch products are just made different so you can sleep better at night. These best-selling sheets feel buttery, breathable, and they get softer with every wash. Plus, you could try Boll & Branch sheets for an entire month. There's no catch. You can wash them, style them, feel the difference for yourself, risk-free. If you don't get your best night's sleep, you can send them back for a full refund. Feel the difference an extraordinary night's sleep can make with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/Dubrow. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com/Dubrow to save 15%. Exclusions apply. See site for details. But okay, so to get back to my controlling nature. Well, first of all, of course, I brought merch for everyone. I did this CR 25, so it was Croatia Crew 25, and it had hats and bags for everyone. And there ended up being a gender reveal party with one of the couples.
What?
Yes, which was fun. I'd never been to one before, so I enjoyed that. And
wait, somebody was pregnant on this boat?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous.
And she was dressed fabulously, gorgeously, amazing. So fun. But I did have to take control of the trip a little bit because it felt a little willy-nilly and there wasn't enough of a plan. And so
oh dear.
So I had to take control a little bit, but my what do you call them? Not castmates, my fellow travelers, my friends were like, yeah, what do you think we should do, Heather? I go, okay, just give me 5 minutes. And I'm like, all right, we're going to have dinner here and let's sail here and let's dock here. So I did take control a little bit, which I think needed. But now that I've done it, I totally understand how to do it next time. And I have a full list of how to change things.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm glad that you discovered a new way to vacation because, and actually this is encouraging for me now. Okay. Have you been on a cruise?
Yeah. In high school, I was on a cruise and a couple of cruises and I hated it. And to be honest with you, like now that I've been on reality TV for so long, I don't think a cruise is in my future.
Wait, what does that have to do with reality TV?
Because I think that look, we're not the Kardashians by any stretch of the imagination. But when you are on a show like this where everyone thinks that you're like, they know you and you're friends.
Oh.
It's
So you'd be trapped on this ship. I get it. Yeah.
yes, that. And
I didn't think about
sometimes,
that.
look, sometimes we go places and no one looks at us, talks to us, cares.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we were walking around. There was a weird, like a paparazzi guy was following. Now, another couple we were with are famous, but we were walking around a little town in, I can't even remember, Corchula somewhere. And there was a paparazzi guy following us around.
Yeah. I didn't think about that angle, but you're right. You're right. I'm only considering a cruise situation because of small children.
Oh, I think your kids would love it. My youngest would have loved to cruise. And we almost did it one time. I was going to go with.
Again, I've been on one. Not a huge fan. But I think for kids, maybe it would be, a different experience.
I think it depends on the age of the kids. I think if you have kids that are at the age that they can cruise around by themselves on the ship, then I think it's fantastic because it gives them some freedom. They can't get off the ship. You can't lose them, but they can go to the water park or they can go to the movie theater or there's places they could go. And I think in that, ages 10 to 14, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but you've intrigued me about the yacht thing because I do feel like every time I go on a boat, I always feel like I will like it.
When you go to a resort and you're spending a fortune at a resort and everything, like your kids order breakfast and it's $1,000. It's not really, but it feels like it. And they take a bite and then they move on, all the hidden costs. And then you make your husband get up at the crack of dawn to go get save chairs, or you have to get a cabana. All those things I find such a hassle, and carrying everything down. It takes all of that away. You're just stationary. And as adults, I just love waking up and not caring. Waking up, whatever, sitting on a chair. There's always a chair. It's always in a good spot. There's always a thing. There's someone to bring you stuff. You don't have to flag a waiter down. It's beautiful.
And it's very private too, which is nice.
It's so private. And that's the other thing. You're in swimsuits, you're whatever. You don't have to worry about who's looking at you, holding your stomach, whatever it is. You're just, it's very freeing.
Well, okay. All right. You may have talked me into it.
I'm telling you, this yacht thing, I so highly recommend it. It was so great. It was fun. We played a game night. One night I brought a really dumb game. I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up. But I bought this game that's like charades, but you could only use mouth noises and you have to put your hands behind your back.
That is funny.
And we were dying laughing. We celebrated with the crew one night. We got off the ship, a few times and had dinner. One day we went to a daytime beach club, which was really fun. The Adriatic Sea is really, really beautiful. And it's still refreshing at this time of year. I'm not sure it ever gets warm. It's not like Caribbean water, but it's so beautiful. Just gorgeous.
Well, good to know. I do have, now is the time that I have just this bucket list of places because I'm so restricted right now. So I'm just daydreaming of things that I want to do once, I'm unpregnant.
What's your due date? Are you telling people that?
It's end of July, but I feel like with both my other pregnancies, I guess it was relatively spot on. So both of my other pregnancies were identical. The labor too. 3 days before my due date for each, and the same exact birth story, which is my water broke, which the first time it happened, my doctor was like, that never happens. It happens in movies and shows, but your water never breaks first. You usually go into labor first. And for both of them, it was the same. My water broke and I did not go into labor. So I had to get induced.
Where were you when your water broke?
Both times I was at home. Because when you think about it, it was 3 days before my due date. So I wasn't really doing much.
Are you kidding? I was running errands. You know me.
Yeah. Well, with my first one, my water broke and I called and they said, well, maybe wait and see if you go into labor. So I stayed home and dyed my roots. I was like, okay. And then still nothing was happening. And they're like, yeah, you got to go in because your water can only be broken for a certain amount of time.
Right.
Then they have to get the baby out. So it was really crazy. When it happened the second time with Guy, my OB was like, wow, that is crazy. So, well, I mean, we'll see if it happens again. But I did talk about this on on social too, that I have a little placenta situation where it's placenta previa. So if the placenta doesn't move, then I have to have a C-section. So if I have a C-section, that obviously will be scheduled, and then that will be even earlier. So that would be like mid-July.
So my water never broke with any of the kids.
They broke it for you?
No, I had C-sections. I started with twins, so they told.
So tell me all the upsides of C-sections.
Oh,
so I feel
it's the best.
Okay.
You have an appointment, you get your nails done, put on makeup. So nice. You just go in. It's very civilized. They give you an epidural. You lay down. They take you in. It's fine. I loved it. But I never went into labor. My water never broke. Like nothing like that ever happened to me.
Well, yeah, because I think with a scheduled C-section, you don't want any of those things to happen.
Definitely not. But I mean, just,
I mean, and there's so many variables, when you do, when you do not have a scheduled C-section, there's like lots of different things that could happen. So it is interesting that it happened exactly the same. And I would say all 3 pregnancies, although, have been very similar as well. So I haven't had anything different. Were your pregnancies different from one to the other?
Well, the first time it was twins. That was a lot.
Yeah, I could see how that would be.
Yeah, that was a lot.
So it was nothing ever like that again, I'm sure.
No, with the twins, I had kidney stones.
Oh, God.
That I had to pass. I was just telling this story the other day. I was so sick and I was lying on the floor of our bathroom with my head, on the tile because I was dying. I was like 8.5 months pregnant with the twins, and Terry stepped over me to get to the bathroom.
Oh,
nice. And I also had preeclampsia with them.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Is the high blood pressure. And so I made it to my due date with the twins, which was, I don't remember, was that 38 weeks, the twins? And so they did my C-section that day. And then I had to have magnesium. It was terrible. And then when I had Kat, that was a scheduled C-section. But with her, I had placenta accreta.
Oh, well, what is that?
So that's when the placenta grows into the side of the uterus. And for some reason, no one knew that I had that.
Huh. So how did they discover that you had it?
On the table. So my memory of this is, which Terry is confirmed. So I'm on the table, and we had just moved down to Newport Beach. So I had a new doctor, a guy doctor, which was so weird to me. Anyway, but he was a very good doctor. And so I had this guy doctor, although I totally remember I've never told anyone this before. I remember I was having the weirdest sex dreams.
Oh.
When I was pregnant with my third child. Really vivid and really weird. And I don't know why I felt like sharing this with him, but I started telling him, like, is this normal? Like, this is so weird. This has never happened to me. And he's looking at me like, it's totally fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
So cringy. But anyway, I told him this and whatever. Anyway, so then I'm on the table and there's like, they take the baby out and she's fine and she's over there and like they're playing music and it's all great. And then all of a sudden it got super quiet in the room.
Oh.
And right after you have the baby, whether it's vaginal or a C-section, they give you great drugs, right? So I've got great drugs on board, and all of a sudden the music stops, and I'm like, why is it so quiet in here? And I'm just like looking around, I'm thinking, whatever. And then a little while later, the music never started again, but everyone started talking, whatever. So apparently, because of this placenta accreta, it was so attached to the uterus that they almost had to do a hysterectomy on the table right there.
And what kept them from doing that?
They got control of the blood loss because I guess when they I don't know that this is exactly true, but I guess when they pull it off of the uterine wall, it's bleeding. Anyway, he was a great doctor. He got control of the bleeding, but I guess the room got quiet because they were ordering blood and doing all the things that they needed to do to prep for surgery. And thankfully, they didn't have to do that. And everything was okay. And Kat was okay. And then how weird that after the twins and Kat were all IVF, I then got pregnant naturally.
No, I do remember that.
Which obviously, if I had had a hysterectomy, that never would have happened.
That's wild, right?
Yeah, it was totally.
That's how everything.
So I had placenta accreta again with Ace, and it resolved.
What do you mean? Just on its own?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so placenta previa could resolve on its own. I did have it with my first, and then it just moved on its own. But I'm a little late now, and it hasn't moved. So,
And there's
we'll
nothing
see.
they can do to move it. That's not a thing.
No, nope, zero. And it's one of the very few things that there's nothing to be done. You just kind of have to, if it's because it's basically blocking your cervix. So if it's like, there's no way for the baby to get out that way.
Leave it to the girl to have a dramatic entrance.
I know. What a little bee.
Let's talk about Thrive Cosmetics. Thrive Cosmetics makes certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free products that you can depend on. And it's all made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high performance and trademark formulas, and uncompromising standards. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've talked about these products so much and I love them all so much, but I have to highlight the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. It is absolutely amazing. I love it because it goes on so easy. The colors are perfect and it doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, and you don't even need eye makeup remover to take them off. Literally, just water, warm water. Just comes completely off and your natural lashes stay perfectly intact. There's 6 shades that last all day. No clumping, no smudging, no flaking. And your lashes look like extensions by lengthening and defining them from root to tip. They have nourishing ingredients in there that support longer, stronger, and healthier looking lashes over time. They've donated over $150 million worth of product and cash funds to over 600 giving partners across the United States. And their donations support major causes, including those affected by cancer, homelessness, domestic abuse, and more, reaching individuals from all walks of life. So try your new trusty favorites with an exclusive set for our listeners. New customers can get the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara and a mini-size Brilliant Eye Brightener at a special set price with free shipping at thrivecosmetics.com/Dubrow. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/Dubrow. Did you have a name?
No.
Really?
I will die on this hill. My friends, they argue with me, and I just think I think this has to do with a lot of stuff, personality and maybe your own journey and how you had kids. But I am convinced that girl names are harder than boy names. That's what I feel like. I don't know if it's because I have 2 boys already, but I feel like because I am a girl, I am so much pickier with girl names. Boy names, I'm picky, but I feel like there's more of a chance that, it's like, oh, that sounds cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Like there's more room for boys to be like, I don't know, have like a more fun name, more silly name. For girl names, I'm like, every single time, I'm like, I hate it. I hate it.
Why
sounds like a stripper. Sounds like this. Sounds like that.
Is that because you're worried she's going to be bullied or?
I think I just personally don't like a lot of names. Like, I don't know. I think I'm more judgmental about girl. Like, I think that as a female, just like we're more critical of other females than we are of men. I don't know. I just feel like I have so many more opinions about girl names than I do about boy names. Boy names were just kind of like, sure. Like, that sounds good. That doesn't. Girl names, there's like, even aside from associations, it's just like, oh, I don't know, that name sounds bitchy, or that name sounds like this, or that name sounds like she's going to be like this. I don't know. I didn't have as many opinions about boy names.
I feel like they grow it into the name.
Well, yeah. So that's the other things. A lot of people are like, oh, maybe you have to wait to see the baby. I'm not like that. I know a lot of my friends are like that. I feel like, I have so many friends that are like, oh, I named my kid this, and I almost named him this. Could you imagine if I named him that? Because they're such a this. I'm like, I always feel like, yeah, I could have imagined that other name
Yeah.
because they are whatever you name.
Right.
I don't feel like, oh, they could have never been this other name. Like Carter, I like the runner up for him was William. That was like the phase that I was in. Till this day, I'm like, he could have totally been a William.
Right.
Some moms are very like, oh my God, could you imagine now? Like, he's such a Carter. It's like,
do you have any
no.
friends? I have friends that named their child and then renamed them a few months later.
Oh, I have not had that thing. Is that a lot of trouble to go through, though? You have to go back and like change all the paperwork.
Did you ever change your name when you got married?
I did. And I feel like that's what I'm referring to. I feel like that legally that's a lot of work. I mean,
it is such a pain in the ass. I didn't change my name until we were married for like 14 or 15 years. Oh my gosh. What a hassle. Social security card, passport, driver's license. I mean, kill me.
It's a lot. And you feel all that out at the hospital. So yeah, I don't know. It would be a lot. So anyways, to answer your question, we have a small list. We definitely don't have any names that we're like super in love with. That's the other thing. Then if I finally find a name that I kind of like, then I got to run it by Kevin. And then men obviously have a totally different perspective of female names too. So then it's, yeah, I don't know. The boys were so much easier, in my opinion. I was like, we had a few.
Carter have a name he likes?
Oh, I don't ask him stuff like that. I have other I remember I was telling one of my best friends, she was like, we do, how we do Christmas cards now. Everyone does the whole, you get photos taken and you send out. She was like, oh yeah. She's like, you don't let Carter, because I was asking her like, oh, which photo do you like more, right? She's like, well, what does Carter say? I'm like, I don't ask him stuff like
I wouldn't ask him that either, because I have news for you. There comes a time where you have to ask. Like literally, Jen.
Well, yes. He's still little and he's 8. I'm not about to let my 8-year-old choose this baby's name.
You only have 3 years left. Enjoy it.
I will say though, Carter is traumatized with Guy's name because Carter's a very square boy. Guy is a little bit different of a name, and so he was really nervous, with this third baby, because Kevin had jokes like, we're gonna name her Girl, and he was like, no, you're not, right? He's like, probably if it was up to him, we'd name her Mary or something.
Oh my God. Did you have any girl names picked out?
I did.
You had, are you recycling any of those, or are you over those?
I'm not, because here's the thing. That's the other argument. My friends are like, everyone has girl names from when they were a teenager. Yeah, I had, so Catherine was my big one. Now I have one of my best friends named Catherine. I have multiple Catherines in my everyday life. And I do feel like I'm not even one of those people that it's like, oh, it has to be, nobody has it. But I feel like if there's more than 2 people in your everyday life that have that name, it's kind of weird. It does kind of take the shine away from it a little to name your kid that. So I still love the name. And then there's a whole category of names that I really like, but that are just not for me. You know what I mean? Like right now, the gender neutral names. I'm not a gender neutral name person. And I'm like, I feel like on another family, I'd be like, whoa, what a cool name, right? That sounds so cool, or that sounds so hip. But I would feel like a poser naming my kid.
And then it has to go with your last name.
Yes, and that's the other issue. Because our last name ends with the EY, this is not an issue with boy names. A lot of girl names end with that sound, E.
Nikki.
So it's like it can be very rank. So in the beginning, I was calling her Shirley because we can't name her Shirley Curley, right? And a lot of girl names end in that sound, EY or an I or an LEIGH or whatever, right? And there are some that are still okay, right? But it's just, it can't be too right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like that eliminates also a lot as well.
Did your mom weigh in?
No. She's not asking about that. I feel like she knows also how opinionated I am, but I feel like, and there, as you know too, there are so many new age names too that people are like, oh, like they like to do like geographic stuff, like,
London.
yeah. We're talking about like the kids were like thinking about doing like a camp in Crystal Cove, and they're like, oh, you should name her Cove. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
No. Again, I think that's a very cool girl name on somebody else. But me and Kev, it would be weird. Like we're definitely, it doesn't fit us.
Right. No, I get it.
So yeah, it's hard. It's hard. And then
for someone that's like 3 or 4 weeks away from delivering, you seem great to me. Like we were talking about being hormonal before. You don't seem hormonal to me at all.
I think also because I'm normally like such a raging bee. So the difference isn't like that vast, I keep saying to Kevin, I was like, is it just because I'm pregnant? Or he's like, no, you're normal.
Oh my God, you're so funny. I was watching you make sandwiches the other day for Kevin and Carter, and I was like, she is just like so pregnant and just so happy to make sandwiches. And
and listen, I'm in the zone right now where I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going until I can't go no more, because that will happen.
Yes.
So every day, even especially a few weeks before, I mean, I'm waking up pretty tired just from the nature of just trying to sleep while you're, very pregnant. But every day to motivate myself, I do think like, I still don't feel terrible. I can still do the things, and who knows how I'll feel after. If I do have to have a C-section, I kind of just want to reserve the time that I'm just like laid out until I like have to be, you know what I mean? Like right now I'm like,
though, really?
What?
Is there a bank though?
Yeah, I know what you mean. As a mom, it is what it is, right? You just get up and you do the stuff. And even this past weekend, we had a really mellow weekend, and I kept thinking to myself, okay, Sunday, we got nothing. I'm going to lay in bed until like something obscene, like 9 a.m. And I can't do it. I wake up and I try. I'm like laying there, and Kevin supports it, but then it's just hard. Again, the control freak thing. And then also it's just with the small kids, and I have a 2-year-old. So it's just, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Like,
I was then I'm like, no, I get it.
Yeah. Cause Kev's like, oh, I'll do it. And then he ends up coming back there and asking me. And then I'm like, I'm just going to get up, like, whatever, like, what am I doing laying here anyway? I don't know. It is very hard to just stay still. So I have tried after my shower. I was like, probably no more big social activities. But I feel like it's summer now, so it's kind of nice. It's kind of a little bit of a lull, because clearly we did not plan any vacations. And so we're just like hanging. We're hanging. The kids have stuff going on. Guy started preschool, which is like always traumatizing for everybody involved.
Right. Does he like
it? So, but I wanted to do it before the baby got here.
Smart.
And so the kids are active, but I'm just trying to really nest and be here and, get everything ready. But as you know, my friend, baby number 3, there's a lot less to do. She got a lot of cute clothes from the shower. And honestly, I haven't really bought that much, but I feel like there's a lot already. And that's probably the extent of it, because I just had Guy, so I have all the other gadgets.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm kind of I feel like okay.
Good.
Yeah. We did hire, I'm not going to lie, we hired an organizer.
Yeah, I love my organizers. They're the best.
I mean, talk about money well spent, right? We're trying to be very conservative. We're like, we're going to be conservative, not spend a lot of money, because when we had Guy, we had to build another bedroom it was a whole thing, and construction, and so I was like, we're not doing anything that extensive. But then with the organizer, so she was great. She did our garage, which I had told her, I said, one day I'll be like my friend Heather and have a whole room for my luggage. Because let me tell you what, luggage in itself.
Anymore.
it's so clunky and it's so hard to fit. Anyways, whatever. So we did that. She did the garage and then she did the kids' closets, which
That's the best.
it was a game changer. And I think because of that, I feel good.
You know, Kat's going to college and Max is going back to college and everyone's going to go back to school in August, and we're living between these two apartments, and it's just crazy. And so because of the way we've been living, like it's not like it's so much space, but it is, but it's not like what we used to have. But things have just gotten very cluttered. And so I spent this past weekend, I am on such a purge, which I love, but I did
Doesn't it feel good?
Ace's room and I did my bathroom because I just couldn't stand all the collection of products and things that I've accumulated.
Yeah.
And I did half my closet, and, so I'm going through, and we did Nikki's room. So I'm going through, I have to do Terry and Mac, but I'm going through everyone's stuff. And then you're going to hire an organizer. I highly recommend doing a quick purge because you'll do more when you come. But there's just something nice about getting rid of the stuff that you want to get rid of.
I know. And I think I'm addicted to getting rid of stuff because after she came, we purged so much, like so many donations, so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's been really helpful. So I told Kevin 2 things. He's lucky. He's lucky that the girl is the third baby. Because if she was the first baby, I would have been buying everything under the sun.
Oh, yeah.
I think by third kid, you're a little calmed.
Yeah.
Your tits are calm.
And again, they really don't wear clothes for 6 months. They wear onesies, and that's the end.
I know.
So
I know. And I feel like, yeah, you're kind of not over it, but you know what I mean? You're chill, you're chilled out a little bit. And then the second thing too is that I've been on this purge rage. It gives me such endorphins purging stuff. And so because of that, I've really been so squeaky about buying anything new. Because now what has happened is I've purged, and with the organizer, we have like a place for everything. So that means that if I get anything new, I'm going to have to throw something out. You see what I'm saying? Like everything is like perfectly. So it's helped with my not buying anything. Like I've been so good. Although I did get a lot of, did you ever go to Red Balloon when you were out here? Of course. Okay. I got a good amount of Red Balloon gift cards too from the shower. So that is tempting.
I hold on to them for when you need stuff.
I think I'm going to hold on to them. Honestly, this is how good I'm being. Like they're just burning a hole, but I'm like, I can wait.
I would wait because you'll see like what her coloring looks like and how big she gets, and she gets bigger early or she doesn't. And then all of a sudden you're going to need a Thanksgiving dress and you'll be like, oh, I got money to spend.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm really just chilling. I don't know. I don't mean to brag, but I feel pretty good. I had this conversation.
That's great. I was telling you right when we got on, I did purge and I felt like I got a lot done this weekend, which was good. And that's very good for my mental health because when things feel chaotic to me, I'm the kind of person when I was young, like I would clean my room before I could study because I needed just a very clean, balanced space. So I feel like I'm doing that, but I'm so weirdly hormonal and I don't really understand this, but I guess in menopause, you can have hormonal days too. I feel so PMS the last 3 days, but I'm like sitting myself down and having talks with myself. So, and the purging helped.
I'm glad you have yourself to talk you through it.
Who else is there?
I know. So the last thing I was going to ask you that I guess we could kind of end on. I don't know. We could probably chat for years and years, which is talking about all this mom stuff. So recently I discovered, ever since my first baby, I feel like there's so much negative content about motherhood. And I get it. It's like people are like, oh, we want to see real stuff. And real stuff ends up being a lot of moms being like, oh, it's so hard. It's so tough. It's, and then it kind of has evolved into like, oh my God, it's the worst. And, all that kind of stuff. And I have this theory now that I feel like negative mom content does go further than positive mom content. I feel like anytime I post anything positive, because I feel like I have a lot of positive experiences to share that I would have really liked to have had when I was first becoming a mom. Because when I was first becoming a mom, there was a lot of scary stuff out there and it really kind of spooked me. And I would have loved to see some positive testimonials But every time I put a testimonial out that's positive, it is just so controversial. Like people will they'll either push back or they'll say, oh, it's because you're privileged. Oh, it's because your husband's so helpful. Oh, it's because you have this. It's because you have that. And it's a very interesting culture to me. And I'm wondering if you have that same experience or perspective, or if you feel like it different.
No, I think you're probably right. And I've seen that on social. I think for me, my kids are at an age, like we were talking about the photos, everyone has to agree on the photo, but, and they have to agree on content. I do my best not to tell my kids stories for them. So sometimes, there'll be something going on within the family, within the kids that I'd like to talk about. But
you want to keep their privacy.
Yeah. And so then that becomes a problem. Even things like, well, this I can tell you about, but I didn't post the photo. And this is a good thing. I went with Nikki and Kat and Ace to Pilates yesterday.
Oh,
so I was going to Pilates. Nikki, they've all been with me before at one time or another. They all came with me together yesterday. And it was very interesting and it was fun. And we had a great time. And then the three of them went off to the farmer's market together. I had to continue purging, so they dropped me off. We had a great time. And it's funny, I was looking at them in the middle of the class and thinking, God, that's so fascinating to me that I now have these older, functioning humans. And just 5 minutes ago, they were little kids like yours, right? And it doesn't go by fast. Trust me, it really doesn't. I don't want to go backwards at all. I love where they're at, and I love talking to them and all this. But it was just like I was having sort of a moment looking at them and thinking about it. And I said, oh, let's take a picture. And they're like, do not post that. I was like, I wasn't going to. Just putting it here. So, but when two of my kids don't get along or whatever's going on with that, I would like to talk about that more. But, sometimes I can't. So I try. I don't think do I talk about it much?
So I think that's the other element too. Like, I think that, well, I'm not a family vlogger, right? And I think it's, the lines get blurred because I do share that I have one.
Right.
And then, people are like, oh, we want to see this or want to see that. I guess what I mean more so, because I'm very careful too about content that involves the boys. I don't ever want to characterize them in any way. I don't even like saying what sports Carter likes or plays, because I'm like, I'll let him, he can have his own, narrative of, his experiences.
But then it's funny when we talk about baseball, I hated baseball. I was so happy when both of them quit baseball. It's the longest game. It's the longest sport. The dads are too invested. It's I hate it.
Well, yeah. Because did you do that here in Newport?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that I'm talking more about motherhood. People are like, oh, did your life change? Is it the postpartum, this and that, and breastfeeding and all that. And I found a lot of negative experiences before when I was pregnant with my first, and it was very discouraging. And so I always thought to myself after I had my positive experiences that I would love to share those. But I do find that now that I am here on my third kid and I have every time I share anything positive, it is interesting. I just feel like it doesn't go as far and people don't like it as much.
Well, I think I see what you're saying. I think that's a real response to social media, because I think for so long, everything was everyone's highlight reels and how beautiful and wonderful and perfect everyone's families are. It was such bullshit and so hard to watch.
Totally.
And I completely think set all these moms up for this perfection that no one can achieve, and probably left a lot of mothers feeling very sad, depressed, and isolated. So I think when people post the negative things, they're like, thank God you see me. And I think that's why those things are
more popular. I know, because I what I get is because a lot of, I feel like the demographic of my followers are late 20s, early 30s. And I just really worry because I see a lot of those girls being like, oh, should I even have kids? It seems awful.
Right.
And then I'm like, no. Like clearly there's a lot of challenging stuff, but I would love to highlight some good things. And then every time I do that, it's just like the comments are like, well, must be nice. And I'm like, geez, like you can't win.
Yeah.
Like
you just got to let it go. I mean, I think that, a lot of what I talk about is that it's, it's mercurial, there's with every relationship, your kids are like that. Your relationship with your kids are like that, with your partner, with your friends, there's good days, bad days, good years, bad years. And, it's just how you get through it. I think it's great that you post that stuff too. And it is good for the younger women to see that.
Well, I think for me personally, like I said, during that time, it was such a hard time when you first become a mom.
Yes. It's so depressing. You're so isolated.
Yes. And but see, to me, the fear mongering from the negative content made it worse. It did not make me feel like I was not alone when I watched stuff of moms struggling. I feel like it made it worse.
I think what's really important for people listening is you got to find your tribe. You got to find the people to follow that make you feel inspired and happy and also feel like you can commiserate. And that's what's great about social. Listen, you're having a low day and you need to be lifted up. Go listen to that person. You hate one and
you can be selective.
Yeah, be selective.
Totally. Anyways, I just found it to be very interesting recently. And I'm like, everyone, like you said, you find your tribe. Everyone needs to go and find what they need from certain people. But social does put things into very strange perspectives.
It does.
Like everyone reacts so differently to certain content. Like I said, I watch content like that, like of moms struggling, and that's not helpful. But the next person might find it very helpful.
So true. By the way, side note, I find like you're wearing a lot of pink lately.
So listen, if we go back to my pregnancy with Guy, people said the same thing then. And I always have to remind people, I too am a girl. Pink is my favorite color. So before we found out the gender for a guy, everyone was like, oh, it's a girl because you're wearing pink. I'm like, you guys, have you not noticed how much pink is in my regular wardrobe? But look, my nails are blue.
Your nails are blue, your bracelet's blue. I was thinking you might need a pink Van Cleef situation.
So you know what somebody said to that really convinced me to get the blue one? They were like, get the blue for you to wear for your two boys. And then it could be your daughter's something blue for her wedding.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I got it. So then I bought it. I was like, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard.
I love that. That is so sweet. I love stuff like that. All right, well, okay. I could talk to you for hours. I thank you so much for coming. I miss you. Yes. I'm hoping to see you before you deliver.
I know. I feel like we got to do an in-person. But then also, see, now I'm like, or should you see me after? Then you could see the baby and then we could actually have like some champagne.
All right. Well, let's see when I'm down there because I'm traveling a bit. So let's see when you deliver and how that all works. But I could
sip and see. Yes. I love you so much. I got to go get my baby now.
I love you.
Mwah, 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 mwah.